It's an epic Friday. And I will tell you this, it almost feels like Groundhog Day. It almost feels like you were just watching this, doesn't it? Well, you were. Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties, and I hope it doesn't happen again. But we were just getting into the weeds. We're going to talk about four things today. We're going to talk about V3 is coming. And if you want a deep dive on that, we're not going to review it again, but just go to the last live stream. And ECR, we're going to talk about that. EC is global. Epic Cash is global. A little bit of cancel culture. I'm going to tee up a little bit about what is a series that's coming up. And then we have a special show for you tomorrow night from 7 to 9 p.m. Don't miss it. You're going to want to wait till the end of this show to hear all about it. Okay, guys. You know, I rebooted everything and my whole screen was black. And you know what I did? I swore, and then I grabbed my cables and I jiggled them. And voila, here we are. So I don't understand it. It sounds to me like I need to go get some backup gear. Okay, we have Max Freeman with us. He is the founder of Epic Cash and Epicenter. And we have Zoom Dude. We know and love him as Yoga Dude, but he's self-identifying today as Zoom Dude. And
nice.
And
he's brand fluid today.
We are inclusive and we are Zoom fluid. So if that is what you want, Zoom Dude, then that's what I'll call you. Unfrozen Donna Lee, thank you. Thomas, thanks for coming back. Sorry about that. That was weird. Okay, where were we? I think we wrapped up VCR, and we were about
VCR. You're dating yourself there, sir.
You're blaming it on the technology, Todd. But you know, like I'm getting suspicious.
I'm reading.
Anyway, you mentioned Donna.
My notes V3 and ECR, and it came out as VCR. So. We're going to talk about ECR. What is it? And, I'm an Epic Cash holder. How do I benefit?
Well, I got to give a shout out. You mentioned Donna, the mother trucker, who's really emerging as a respected leader in our community, yes. who's doing great work. So thank you, Donna. You want to recognize her contributions. All right, so on to ECR. Yoga, you want?
By the way, before you start, Sang Freud said, amazing interview the other day with the Swarm Stream. Mind-blowing stuff from Mr. Freeman. Can one of you guys go in and find a link to that and put it in here? Because I'd love for everyone watching this to go watch it, because I agree with you saying it was mind-blowing. It was just a fantastic interview, and you just don't want to miss it. So sorry.
And then I think, suggestion, if somebody wants to help, generally the way we achieve things is micro projects. That gives me a great idea. It's pretty easy to transcribe the content of that interview and clean it up. And then we can put it with links and stuff like that for people that may not want to sit through having to listen to me yap for an hour. So we can iterate it a little bit and enrich in it. So if anybody would like to help with that and earn a bit of ECR, please DM me.
Perfect. How do they DM you?
Well, I'm in all the chats. Max Freeman 4 on Telegram.
What chats?
What do you mean chats? Oh, right. Okay. So yeah,
you're assuming everybody watching this automatically knows where to find it.
Yeah. You're right. Okay. So t.me/epiccash is our main Telegram. That's certainly the place to start. If you're new, there's a lot of other specialized ones. And there's also a great signpost to the labyrinth of rabbit holes at Linktree. So it's linktr.ee/epiccash.
Wait, link what?
Okay, so it's linktr.ee/epiccash.
Okay, I just dropped that in. Thank you. Excellent.
Getting a little better every week with these things.
That's
And
right.
I just a personal note. I really just individually appreciate all the bits of feedback that I get in various ways, even if it's something simple. Hey, don't move your mic that way. The sound is scratchy on the small end, all the way up to something significant. So if you see a way that any of us can do better, the input is valued and appreciated. So that's another way that individuals can help. Yoga wants to talk later about empowering people globally. And really, I think that, what have you done for Epic today? Question, if everybody involved applies a little bit of energy, we can really get somewhere fast, because we're stronger than I think we really recognize.
Absolutely. Okay, good. So to review, everyone, Max is going to have 3 minutes, and Yoga is going to have 3 minutes on ECR. Which one of you two wants to go first?
Why don't you take it, Yoga?
Okay, I can just do the really basic part of it, because really, to me, ECR is essentially the kind of token that you want to play with. So Epic Cash is what you want to hold, and ECR is an Epic Cash derivative in a sense, that becomes a token that'll give you the ability to participate in governance, that'll give you ability to get other dividends and benefits, and it'll be a token with additional versatility, whereas Epic Cash is Epic Private Internet Cash. There you go.
Okay.
You didn't even need your 3 minutes. I'm sure I'll use them. Yeah.
You. We love you, Max.
Go.
Yeah. So I think about ECR as equity in our common enterprise. We're individuals united through our individual self-interest to act collectively in cooperative ways to our mutual benefit. And so the design of Epic needed to be very specific to serve its purpose. We saw years ago that BTC would fall prey to the degradation in its trustlessness and permissionlessness and censorship resistance and fungibility and the regulatory onslaught and all that. So our crystal ball was fairly clear on that one, and we're well positioned. And it didn't give us a lot of scope to do a lot of the basic blocking and tackling business development type playbook that literally every other network out there does. There's 10,000 digital assets, and people don't realize when they read a Cointelegraph article that that's not news. That's PR from some well-funded startup, and things are not always as they seem. There's 221 million people in crypto now, and 100 million came this year. And if you ask somebody new, hey, tell me about your holdings, it's Shiba Inu and Doge and XRP. And Cardano's gonna redefine the future of internet. And it's just like, okay, we were all new once, and plugging into the speculative aspect is important. But Epic needed to be a utilitarian, reliable tool to provide, above all, censorship resistance and immutability, and all the other good stuff that we're always rattling off, because we've known for thousands of years that a good money must also ideally be a good currency, and it needs to be a store of value. So we get that with the 21 million coins. It needs to be a medium of exchange, which the ability to transfer value to anyone, anywhere, any amount with no permissions is ticking the medium of exchange box. And then the next thing that we need is a unit of account, because we live in a fiat world and we live our lives in dollars or euros or yen. And that means we need a stablecoin framework. That's where EUSD comes in. So if we said, what is the business of ECR? Well, just as the Federal Reserve is a private banking corporation that earns a lot of profits when people use its Federal Reserve notes that we refer to colloquially as dollars, even though they haven't actually been dollars. since the 1971 gold window closure. That's a rant for another time. If people are interested in that stuff, you can we can engage on the Austrian economics type of stuff over at FreeU. Shout out to t.me/FreemanU, where we geek out about a lot of that good stuff. And so, we didn't do an ICO, we didn't do a pre-mine, we didn't take any VC. It's not a company, and we're all volunteers. And so when people say, why don't you go and pay BitBoy to shill your token? Yes, it would definitely pump. We've seen what happened to Pirate Chain when a single influencer got behind him. It went up 5,000% in 17 days. And so we've been under intense pressure to do the, let's call them shitcoin pumpery things. And I'm explicitly not saying that Pirate Chain is that. It is not that. But we all know, those here today, gone tomorrow flashes in the pan, that even if they make some money for people, they have a lot of risk financially, reputationally, sometimes legally. And so we've taken a safe and solid approach. Epic is 1 million blocks old. The network gets safer and more secure and cheaper to operate with every block due to the way that proof of work operates. And now it's time to throw fuel on the fire, because we've got a solid structure that can accommodate a lot of growth. And so ECR, I know a young man that has built his career with Tesla, and he's been able to do quite well for himself through the stock grants. And he participated in the value creation as that enterprise became worth, however many hundreds of billions or maybe even trillions it now is. And our equivalent of that, since we're not trying to create a monolithic corporation that exists in the stock market, like an Alphabet or a PayPal or a Visa or a Google or a Alibaba or whoever, we're creating a digitally native asset, which is ECR, which is not a security. And it enables people to earn it, not through proof of work mining, but through proof of work as contribution through what have you done for Epic today. So quick shout out, if you need to interrupt, let me know, but just running through my list here, we've decided to implement an epicenter community recognition, ECR. There's a lot of that ECR alliteration throughout, to hat tip to whoever came up with that. So we decided to integrate, or to allocate 1,000 ECR to Mr. Jordan, formerly Sam I Am, for helping put together the partnership with Cadena that we can't talk about now, but there's a lot of good stuff coming. And then also 1,000 each for DeFi Money and DM, who have been instrumental in leading the change or the charge on WAN chain. So through proof of work and demonstration of commitment and contribution, we will have a really robust mechanism to disperse our really kind of like lottery tickets for the upside if we're really able to make something.
Okay, Max.
Yep.
All right, let's dumb it down for me. Okay, that all sounds great. But I still don't freaking get it. I'm an Epic Cash holder. What does ECR do to me? Do I have to? Is that yet another thing I have to go out and buy? Is that? Yes. It is something you have to go out and buy.
Right, and thank you for that. So at a basic level, there's 12 million Epic Cash coins, and we took a snapshot of the chain on February 28th. And so if you own one Epic as of that date, whether it's in your local wallet or on Veet, both of those are eligible. You'll be able to claim one ECR token per Epic. So that's 12 million out of the 25. That's about half of them. And then the rest will be distributed through a variety of processes. We put out a bunch of preliminary documentation in the chat channels, and we're working on the final versions before we go to market. So ECR is a standard ERC20 token that will be available for purchase on platforms such as SushiSwap and Uniswap and Balancer, and it's going to plug into the entire
so would it be
Ethereum
like a hex or something like that? I mean, just ground it for us. Okay.
Yeah. So
like
it's
hex,
an
but maybe
ERC20 token like hex.
Okay.
Yes, except this is designed to be essentially like instead of us going to raise VC from Silicon Valley and then form a company that we eventually hope to sell to Wall Street like Coinbase did, we're going with a pure token model. So our business as Epicenter is represented as the ECR tokens, and there's 25 million of them. They'll freely trade out in the market as Epic does. And as those just get distributed and we build out the other products, then the ECR holders are the ones who get them. So EDX. Go ahead,
ultimately,
Yoga.
well, just in a nutshell, I mean, ultimately, it's just a cleaner and more honest approach. We believe it's more transparent. Going with this type of model without involving corporations and all those other things. So, but again, ECR is going to be the token you want to play with. Like you said, yeah, it's hex-like, and that's pretty much close enough of a comparison, I think, for.
Yeah, I mean, I think the people who are watching now, they probably weren't back there at that snapshot. And so it's like, okay, good for those people. Got to work.
Well, glad
do you want to talk
mentioned
about
that.
the new snapshot, Yoga?
Yeah, exactly. So glad you mentioned that. We fully agree with you, especially considering that the last snapshot happened February 28th, and it happened before the incident, and we had some old school people that benefited. But at the same time, yes, our community has grown substantially since then, very substantially. And we do believe that it would be only fair to make sure that those people were also compensated, for being part of the Epic ecosystem. So the ECR, the way we're going to do it, and we'll get more details soon, but we will greater benefit those who have held Epic and acquired Epic since the first snapshot.
Yeah. Okay. So I asked that question on purpose because I kind of knew the answer, but I really think it's important because initially when I got into this, it was like I kept hearing about this snapshot back then and how great it's going to be with this ECR. And then I'm just like, I put a lot of sweat equity into this. I put a lot of financial equity into this. That's good for them. But what about us? Because is it right now all about encouraging people to become Epic holders now?
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
You mind if I jump on this, Yoga?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've continued to bang away at the tokenomics. We should probably really call it crypto economics because tokenomics gets a bad rap from the 2017 ICO boom.
Right.
But as we've seen from networks like Hex and some of the other interesting burning and yield farming, and I mean, a lot of them blow up. There's new hacks and bugs for hundreds of millions every day, and we believe that we need to, above all else, not have that happen when we can avoid it. Sometimes it's unavoidable, like the value overflow incident back in March. But we were really trying to square the circle and wrap our heads around how do we maintain our promises to what we said before to people that in good faith bought during the breach or bought Epic before the first snapshot, but also recognize that our Telegram today is 1,240 people. As of the last snapshot, it was 700. And if we don't do something, then we're going to have the scale tilted, and it kind of gets out of whack in terms of the value of what somebody who came earlier gets versus somebody who comes later. And so we're going to reveal more details soon. But yes, more snapshots.
I'll interrupt here. The bottom line is, if you aren't an Epic Cash holder, you might want to think about becoming one.
At least
now.
one. Get one coin. I mean, spend 50 cents. Come on.
and look, it's not going to be the fountain is going to keep on giving, but we felt like it's a very fair and honest chance for people who have joined in since then.
Look, there's a lot of people
to get the appropriate benefit, for an encouragement for their merit, for their contribution. We have very active community, and really our culture is epic. I mean, our culture is really tremendous, and the people that have been stepping up, especially like in the last 6 months. I mean, oh my God, it's really humbling. Actually, it's really amazing. to see people doing what they're doing to help us get into that magical mass adoption point. And we want to make sure that their efforts are compensated.
And I think up until like this conversation of this reveal, people are investing in Epic Cash and putting their sweat equity behind it as well, which I call leading with your chin versus your handout. That's adding value to the blockchain, the project, to the whole ecosystem. And we're doing that and have done that because we know that the more that we do that, the more value it adds. And ultimately, that's going to be translated into Epic price. Right now, Epic is, I don't know, from a market cap standpoint, 4 to 5 million. And when you compare that to what would an R and a Monero and a Zcash be, Max?
Right. So one of our community members goes by the name of Computronium Hands, did the math on this, and there's a GameStop style analysis series coming. So I have the facts ready at hand. So shout out to him. Good work there. R went from what was it, 33 cents to $16 in the span of 17 days. A few months ago on the R is Pirate Chain. For those that don't know, ARRR is the ticker. So it went up to a 2.4 billion market cap on the strength of a single influencer with a reach of approximately 300,000. And their community is about 10,000. So they had a great run up, and then they retraced a little bit. Where it goes from here.
Four now. It is
400 million.
No, it's $4. So I just want to say, and I want to go on record. 700
million.
I'm going to go on record because someone called me an Epic fanboy, and it's like Epic is not my largest holding, guys, and R is my second largest holding, and I'm a pirate. I love me some R, so I have strong faith in that entire community, where they're going. I think it's going to blow past their all-time high in the maybe not so distant future. But so I'm raising my hand saying I'm a pirate. So nothing that we're going to talk about is knocking them or Monero, which is, I think it's my fifth largest holding. But this is about where our market cap with Epic Cash is now and what the potential is, and it should get your attention.
Here's the way to think about it. We're at Home Depot. We're walking down the aisles, and there's 10,000 products here, 10,000 different tools for different jobs, and we're in the must-have privacy for all transactions aisle, and there's 7 products there. You mentioned Monero, which does have always-on privacy, like Epic and Pirate Chain do. And so let's look at the prices on the shelf of these different networks. Let's, just to make things easy, let's call Epic $1. All right. And so we're going to normalize the prices of these other products that do the same thing. You've got a bug spray and you need to, spray the termites. What's the best tool for your job? So Epic is there, and it's $1 because nobody knows it. It's new. We haven't heard of it before. What's that? Let me go with the brand I know. Our market cap is $4 million. Pirate Chain is 700 million. So to put that in equal terms, Pirate Chain, your position in Pirate Chain is $175 vis-a-vis the Epic at $1. You're paying 175 times the price for that same always-on privacy performance. Now, of course, that's not the only feature and the only aspect of consideration. Their community is approximately 8 times the size of ours, but it's also 93% emitted, whereas ours is 55%, single algo mining versus multiple. So there are some key differences. But to get always-on privacy with Epic costs you $1. To get always-on privacy with Pirate Chain costs you $175. To get you that same privacy with Monero costs you, what is it? 4.8
I
billion
I think,
divided by
yeah,
12,
I think
$400.
right. I can't,
$400. Yeah.
Max, I can't argue with your math. I look at it simpler. I mean, I came from the Monero camp, okay? And Monero was my first privacy coin, and I've been with Monero since 2014, and I have nothing but pure respect for the community of Monero, despite its leadership. And the way I look at it is I hedge into privacy cryptos. It's not any one particular crypto. And I hold Monero, I hold Epic, and to me, I think the chances of Epic going 10x or 100x are simply greater than the chances of Monero going 10x or 100x. It's that simple.
Ding, 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 freaking ding.
Yep.
That,
Okay.
Option value.
that
What's
is-
the lottery ticket worth?
There is really no downside to this. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, look, I mean,
Yep.
let's think about this. So you have the always on privacy performance. We have a rational and reasonable emission curve. We're 100% proof of work, 100% open source, 100% confidential transactions. All transactions are private. There was no ICO, there was no pre-mine, so there's no risk of a pump and dump. And there's not a corporation. We're all volunteers. All of those attributes wrap up Epic Cash. And you look at it and you're like, my gosh, in comparison, do I really think that or let's see, they're at 700 million for them to double in price. So I guess even getting from $4 to $8
takes 700 million.
That would take $700 million to do that of market value.
And remember,
for us right now, let me just finish this.
All right.
Let me just share right now with everyone. What do you think the odds are of Epic Cash going from 30 cents to 60 cents? Okay, that's what we're talking about. 36 going from 5 million to 10 million in market value versus 700 million to 1.4 or 700 million to 1.4 billion. That's what we're talking about. Let's look at Monero. What's Monero's market?
4.8.
4.8 billion. Okay, everyone, hear me, please. Let's round up $5 billion. What's the likelihood that Monero will go from 5 billion to $10 billion versus Epic Cash? Like, let's just say you threw the same $10,000 at each one of those. Which do you think has the better chance of doubling your money? And that's how I've been approaching this, and why I love this project so much is it has such a freaking small market cap, yet it has all of the attributes of an investable coin that I can believe in. I mean, goodness gracious, it's like borderless, it's private. It's 0.01, 1 penny for a transaction cost. So you want to go tip somebody? Like, let's just say that somebody accepted Bitcoin for tipping. Do you want to pay at some point for a transaction $63 to tip someone, $5? Or do you want to pay 1 penny to be able to tip them?
Oh, no, not a penny. It's like 50 or 100 transactions for a penny. It's
I'm sorry.
0.0001. Yeah. It's almost free.
I got my decimals 3 off. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then you have a censorship resistant. Man, oh man, I'm getting riled up about this. But
remember, we only got 15 minutes left. So,
well, I think we're getting into it now, because I do want to start talking about a little bit of cancel culture and how Epic Cash is the solution. Because I have I went and I bought a. Well, it's one of these things that you put around, and I can't wear one. So there's a website out there called Fake MASK USA. And so it's FAKE MASKUSA.com. And it's legally, it's literally awesome. You can see right through it. You can breathe through it, but it's a super fiber technology that has been made that is just It works better than a traditional mask does because you can breathe through it. So anyway, I ordered that. They're en route, but then since I ordered that, PayPal has shut them down, and PayPal has $100,000 that they have basically confiscated, that they're not releasing to them. So that'll have to go to court or whatever. I don't know how that works, but PayPal shut them down. And then there's another person who I love and support who just got knocked
Uncle,
off
do you mind if I?
Patreon.
Sorry, Uncle.
Yeah.
Uncle, do you mind if I just add to that? Maybe we can add a couple of examples, because there's a lot here. You have your story, I have one. I suspect there's a lot out there. In the Netherlands, just recently there's been organizations that don't adhere to the official policy, like, let's say protest organizations saying, we disagree with what's going on, that woke up to find their bank accounts shut down and their funds frozen. So your access to banking services, your access to being able to live in this world, to do anything requires money, can be arbitrarily turned off if you disagree with the politics of your provider. Cash App is doing it, PayPal is doing it, banks are doing it. Binance just closed its window because it can't access fiat anymore. The ability to move value is being strangled. And that, more than anything else, I think will drive the demand for Epic, because nothing can stop it.
Yoga, what do you have to say about that? Because I think you have a solution that you and I are going to get on the tomorrow night, 7 p.m. It's just going to be Yoga and me, and we're going to have a great time. Please come and join us. It's going to be a little bit different of a show. And Yoga is going to really take a deep dive into something that he created for all of us. Why don't you give us a little preview of what that is, Yoga? And maybe people can do a little homework before our show tomorrow night.
The short of it is a site called EpicFundMe.com. And the idea is it's an index that allows people who are willing to contribute something, to put forth an effort, to be compensated for that effort in Epic cash. Not everybody's a miner. Not everybody's a techie guy. Not everybody has, a bunch of money that they can spend on Epic, but certainly everybody is capable of doing something, actually performing a meaningful task, supporting content, spreading the word, or just something that outside of the Epic Cash ecosystem. Let's say they're helping somebody, they're doing something for the community, their own community that they live in any country in the world, and they can present their case on EpicFundMe.com and put their address, their wallet address there, and people from the community go to the site and look at this site, and they decide if something is worth their attention. If the case is presented well, if the case is compelling, they can give money.
So if I had if my means of,
let's say hypothetically, you had a YouTube channel, strictly hypothetically, okay, and you were, presenting interesting material, again, strictly hypothetically, and you wanted to encourage people to donate, to keep supporting you, being on the air. This gives people the ability to send you funds directly, not through Patreon, not through other organizations where they first collect the funds.
Yes.
Then they wait on their moral scale, quote, quote, moral scale, and they decide, first of all, they take a cut for doing that.
Yes.
Okay. And then they decide if you are worthy or not, injecting their subjective narrative into the decision process. Okay. Whereas here, there's no middleman. If people like your content, if people see a value in what you're doing, they send it directly to you. We just do an index. That's it. Okay. And it's up to the end user, it's up to the person, to do the research and decide. We don't decide for you. We don't decide how well, for the person presenting their case, we also don't decide how they do it. And look, we'll talk about it more, but, just throwing a thing up there saying, hey, give me money is not going to get you money. Okay. just like, asking on the corner is not going to do that either. Okay. So the point is, this puts people of merit, and I mean merit, people who deserved. Remember back in school, if we're old enough, before they gave medals for participation, you actually had to like win. The idea was you had to medal to get a prize. And remember the difference between the third place prize and that first place prize? Like the third place prize was like something you get from a Cracker Jacks box.
Yeah.
And the first one, like you needed your parents' help to take it home, kind of thing. So that was the difference, right? And of course, now we just give medals for participation. But this goes back to, but not in case of EpicFundMe. You're not going to get a medal for participation. But if you actually have a case that deserves it, and also you let people know that, hey, this is how I get monetized. Hey, you create awareness and people contribute. So that's simple. It's very clean, very, very honest. We don't get a penny from this. Okay. This is strictly a community effort to enable community. That's
tomorrow night, guys. We're going to wrap some things up because we have some questions in the chat that I think are good. And I want to, first of all, Thomas.Bobby.G has I think he said something. Where is it? He did something to irritate Donna here. And it's like when the shit hits the fan or something like that, the only thing you're going to be able to use is R. We're not going to answer that. But what I wanted to do, because Thomas, it looks, you basically said, God, I'm sorry. Epic is a coin itself. It is a smart contract with ETH. So everybody will have to wait for ETH to finish the transaction to proof of stake. I'm sorry. That's not what he's talking about. No, that's not him. That's not him. Monero is good, but I would hold off on. Anyway, Thomas, if you have any issues, Uncle V, did you invest in? Is this you? Yeah, Donna, okay, here it is. Here's the one. Donna, I am here asking privacy coin lovers to give an honest look at Epic. So I'm so freaking confused whether you're pro Epic or not. But anyway, I would invite you on tomorrow night. Yoga and I are going to be on for a couple hours. I'd love to invite anybody on who has some real questions that just isn't coming into the chat to kind of shit in the chat and then, leave. And that's not what we're all.
Hold on, just if I can address that in 15 seconds. Okay, so no, when the shit hits the fan, you're not going to use R because already, number one, it doesn't have the transactional capacity. Number two, the chain file is already 9 gigs and would just explode. You're not doing it on mobile, so you're connecting to some remote node or something like that. You can't mine it at home because you need a $10,000 ASIC. And the list of reasons goes on. So as a useful, modern replacement to Monero for certain use cases, Pirate Chain is a solid choice, and I think it's worth $700 million. But Epic is, a more broader use case. And so a lot of this criticism, that the peanut gallery is throwing is simply ignorant and ill-informed.
Thomas says Epic is privacy, and I want all the privacy community to talk. You know what? This is a good tee up, Thomas, for me to wrap up the end of the show, because you know what? I agree with you. And so what has been going on in my mind is I have been thinking about my long-term positions of what I want to hold long-term, because I'm looking at what's happening with fiat. I'm looking what's happening with censorship. And I'm looking at I hold privacy near and dear to my heart, because it's just like when I go to a public restroom, and if I have to go to the John, I'm going to close the door. It doesn't mean I'm a bad person or doing something bad in there. It's just I kind of want my privacy, right? So that's the same I feel with any and all of these privacy coins. I hold. There are some that it's not a lot, but I hold every one of these coins. And I'm going to tell you, these are the ones that I came up with by asking a lot of questions out there to Max and Yoga. We went through this because we're going to do a series called the Savior 7 series. Why is it the Savior? Because ultimately, we're going to go through a process to where there's going to be one coin left standing through a very regimented approach. And there are 7 candidates, which would be that coin. And these are the attributes for those candidates. They must have a rational and reasonable emission curve. They must be 100% proof of work to be considered. And look, this is my movie here. This is for my future portfolio, but hopefully it gets dialogue going and discussion. It needs to be 100% open source, 100% confidential transactions. So it needs to have privacy always on, not just playing footsie with it, but privacy always on. No ICO and no pre-mine, so that we get rid of the pump and dumps. And then it's not a corporation at all. So there's nothing that can ultimately be censored. So when we went through the list of which coins has all of those attributes, and there may be one coin that's left out that might surprise you. And I want to ask Max and Yoga about that to end the show. But we have BTC, Monero, Zcash, Firo, Epic Cash, Grin, and Beam, or as Max likes to call them, Bean. And guys, why isn't R on that list?
Well, hold on. Yeah, BTC should not be on that list, and neither should Firo, because 20% of transactions are private. The other 80 are not. If they get to
we're gonna create a little wiggle room, because I want to bring BTC into it. And I think Firo, where they're going, I think
sure.
I
then include Zcash. Include Zcash too.
Huh? Zcash is the third one.
I would throw Pirate Chain on there. Yeah.
Okay.
Pirate Chain belongs on there better than Bean does, for sure.
Yeah, and
well, screw Bean then. Let's put. We're going to make our
because look,
Bean, avoid Bean at all costs.
Okay, bad. When we were talking about it, you left R off, and I didn't know why, and I wanted to talk about that.
No, it's your movie.
Well, you're kind of my sensei here, and so but what we want to do, guys, we're going to take those 7 coins, which now thankfully includes R, and we're going to walk through which one of them, if the shit hits the fan, what are the pros and cons of it. So what's going to be our savior coin at the end of the day? And of course it's not going to be Bitcoin, because you're not going to be paying $100 for a transaction, but we're putting it on there because that's the number one out there that is proof of work. So Yoga, what do you have to say about that list?
Well, I think one way you can look at it, I'll give you 2 ways to look at it. Okay. One way to look at it is, let's say you have gold coins, silver coins, and copper coins. Okay. And there's some things that you just can't buy for any amount of silver. And at the same time, there's some things that you don't want to pay for with a gold coin, et cetera. Okay. So there's time and place for everything. And it's called college. And it's called college. No, just kidding. But the honest truth is there are alternatives, and you don't want to pigeonhole yourself into just one thing. Okay, this is the blindness of the maxis, which is a weird thing, because originally Bitcoin was not a maxi culture, neither was Monero, because I was there and we were all inclusive and we were very crypto curious, and we wanted to experience different new things. Okay.
I like that blindness of the maxis.
Yeah, and again, that's kind of a more recent phenomenon. Okay, so to go back to my example, silver, gold, copper, etc., they're different denominations, and they all offer incremental value. And Epic is one of those incremental coins. I wouldn't dissuade anybody from holding Bitcoin. I wouldn't dissuade anybody from holding Monero or R. Or whatever else you're comfortable with.
Well, I will tell you, let me give you the ending away before is I am going to hold every one of these coins. The only coin I currently do not hold is Grin. I don't hold Grin, but I own every other one, and heavy, BTC, Monero, R, and Epic.
There are 86,400 reasons a day that you don't own Grin. And there will be 86,400 more reasons next year and the year after and 100 years from now.
Well, should we not put them on the list? If there's that many reasons, why did we have them on the list? Let's just take them off, come up with a different one.
Yeah, I mean, as a technology pipeline, lab for us, we love them. But 86,400 coins a day, and they are maxis on that. That's never going to change. That means 50 years from now, it's pretty predictable. Where,
here's a great one. Here's a great one, and I love it. Thank you, DJ Stone. POW is not sustainable. Not true, but let's talk about why, guys.
All right. You want to handle that one, Yoga? Because I tend to get excessively verbose on this. It's a subject I care a lot about.
I think it's a little silly because so far you guys cramming a whole lot of wrong into a very compact space, and I don't even know where to start. But proof of work simply secures the network, okay? And that's the value that it adds. Just like a bank with a bank vault secures your money, proof of work keeps the network honest, keeps the network decentralized, keeps the network safe from other attacks. Okay. And it tangibly rewards, and people say, well, it's wasteful energy. No, that's BS. Okay. Because look at how much energy we spend to move gold around, how much energy we spend to move money around, how much electricity we burn, etc.
Banks put out 6x the CO2 of BTC mining.
Yeah.
Six times.
So to me, a lot of this is just rubbish. And as somebody said, I see in chat, proof of work works. That's ironically dead on accurate that you can't even improve on. Okay. Proof of stake is a centralized thing. Okay. Proof of stake is easier to corrupt. Proof of stake is.
And it's unproven.
And it's not proven.
But maximum efficiency is where humanity is going to look forward to reach to.
That is such a crock. Anyway, we can talk in slogans. I was born in Soviet Union, so I mean I can talk in slogans all day. Okay, but let's cut the bullshit.
But do not be a Grin fork and slam Grin.
Hold on. Let me. Okay, I see we got it, and now it makes sense why all the where the smell is coming from. So look. Yes, we are a fork of Grin. Okay, just like Monero was a fork of its prior shitty companion. Yes, Bytecoin, of course. Okay, and the point is, we took the design, we fixed the emission. Okay, it's not an endless fountain of inflation. It's actually a sensible emission. This is why Bitcoin works. This is why Epic works. Okay,
and we added multi-algo and some other key stuff. Yeah, I mean we fixed it.
And we made it mineable and accessible to the masses instead of, again, to a couple of nerds with ASICs. So
thank you, Grin. We love you.
Grin, we respect a lot of the developers there. We respect some of the community members in there. But guys, look, honestly, if you start approaching it with this naivete of, we have infinite inflation, but because we came out first, we're better, we would still be using VHS tapes, guys. Sorry. And we're not.
There's 11,000 coins a day of Epic that come out. In November, that goes down to 5,000. 2 years later, just under 3,000, and then 1.4 thousand. In 7 years, there will be 210 Epic a day, and there will be 86,400 Grin a day. So no disrespect, but math is math. And open source is open source, and we can pull tech from the entire Rust, Mimblewimble ecosystem, hat tip to MWC. We showed a little bit about ECK, so I'll just touch on that here. We are going to be recognizing both Grin and MWC coin holders, GitHub contributors, developers, the two community councils in Grin, with a seat at our table on the economics of ECK. I've been talking with Mr. Burkett over there about that recently and shared with him some of our materials for his review. So, we have no enemies, only allies. And there is a group for knitting together the pirate and ECR communities and getting the word out about the air grab of ECR for our holders. So, there's sour grapes in some quarters, for silly stuff that doesn't matter. It's
right.
Time to unite and move forward together.
One thing I would like to say, because I very much am a competitive person. Okay. One of the cool things about Epic is we are modular. Okay, we're not monolithic. We're not a dinosaur, and we are able to rotate algos that work into our system. Okay, we will introduce light mining, on smartphones. We will introduce other ways, lighter, more carbon emission friendly ways, if you will, okay, of
Proof
doing
of
proof of
space-time,
work.
proof of history.
Sure. Okay, but the bottom line is this: if your tech does not suck, we can integrate it into Epic Cash.
And we will.
We can subsume you. Okay, we are the Borg of crypto.
Unabashedly, that is our plan.
Proof of work is leading to huge centralized mining farms and centralization of calculation power, says DJ Stone. Prove me wrong. Proof me wrong.
So EOS has 21 nodes. Grin with its Cuckoo 31 ASICs has 130. Bitcoin SV has 199. Monero has 2,400, and Epic has about that same number. Epic is mined on 101 countries, and that's before the one-click miner came out, before the mobile mining. There will be 5.2 billion devices on mobile that can run full nodes and mine. And we're going to be a lot more decentralized than the 25 or so pools that BTC has. So absolutely, we're going to be the most decentralized network, full stop.
I interviewed the guys from Lightcash, and I do not own any. Is there a reason why? Do you guys know anything about Lightcash?
It's a Bean fork. It's a Bean fork. So they're dependent on Bean for their technology pipeline. It's written in C++. And so similarly as Pirate Chain derives from Zcash and is, for better or worse, dependent on them, you're attaching your cart to a suspect horse. Maybe somebody has.
Can't they say that the same thing about you because you're a Grin fork?
No, because while Epic used Grin code, it also uses RandomX. It also uses ProgPow, and Epic as a component. Epic is just the flux capacitor inside the DeLorean that can do 1.21 gigawatts, so that EUSD can do time travel. So we needed technology that would do certain things. Grin suited our needs best. We also evaluated everything else, and that was 3 years ago now.
Can I just, Max, let me just bring this down to earth a little bit. Okay. And I can start and finish with this. Epic is easier to access. Okay. It's more mineable than Grin. It's more mineable by non-nerds, okay, than a lot of the other cryptos. Okay?
And even Monero.
Simply because, especially Monero, and Monero is talking about changing their mining strategy again, but simply by using 3 different mining algorithms, we gave the broadest accessibility, mineable accessibility to our crypto than anybody else. Okay. And that's it. I mean, we're more equally accessible to people from all over the world.
Okay, but I want to revisit the Epic or the Lightcash. So
I just don't see the point. I'd be curious, instead of me trying to say like why or why not, sell it to me.
Why are we talking about it?
Sell it to me. I'm always open to, and I haven't seen a compelling enough sales pitch just because that, it's another crypto. Well, it's a very, in their case, it's a very derivative crypto. And if they're trying to do trying to be like silver to Bitcoin, like the guys that shall remain unnamed, at least by me, if they're trying to be silver to or copper to Beam's silver or whatever, I honestly, they had a couple of pumps, and I'm just curious, what's where to from here? What's the point?
I think DJ Stone is a hexagon
bag holder
because he's a what owner?
Oh, I mean
I think he's a no pointer.
No, he said more and more devices to waste energy. So
I think he's a no pointer. Actually, this to me.
If you want another Mimblewimble, throw MWC in the list. Under no circumstances. Okay, MWC, aka Mimblewimble coin. It has a purple logo. It's about $5. It's actively developed. They're good guys. They had some early success and then some challenges, and they're fighting the good fight. So if all you care about is having diversification of Mimblewimble, this is really your only options. You've got Bean and Lightcache that use the same C++ code base. And then you've got Epic, Grin, and MWC that run the originally derived from the same Grin code base. And we've all evolved in our kind of different directions. Epic is best understood as a component in our Epicenter DeFi ecosystem, whereas MWC has kind of its standalone path, and Grin faces some forks in the road about where it goes from here. That I'll let them speak to.
Okay, so and then I know the question I'm going to get: why not PRCY? And they were pre-mine. It's
not just that; it's
proof of stake,
and it's a fork of a fork. I mean, it's funny because they copied and pasted themselves. Okay, like they try to have a go at it. It didn't work. And then they copied and pasted exactly the same thing and just try to reboot it. It's just silly.
Why wouldn't the pre-mine be used for the dApps holders that got screwed? That's what I keep wondering.
There are a bunch of uncomfortable questions. Honestly, guys, look, I don't want to disparage.
Not worth the time to discuss.
Yeah, I don't want to disparage.
Let's focus on us.
Well, here's where I want to get to. This is why I'm calling it the Savior 7, because I really do think the shit's going to hit the fan. And so I think it's important to discuss these things. And I want to have, for every single one of these coins, I want to have somebody who represents that community on to talk about it. I want them to be able to have it be basically an infomercial, to be able to talk to me about your coin and your project, because I want to know, and I want to ultimately hold all of them. And I am going to, in my mind, pick my 2 or 3 that I think are the ones that I really want to hold firm on.
Let's start with Monero, because they're the king of the hill of always on privacy at 5 billion of market cap.
Yeah.
And so, Monero needs the question. I like that, Yoga. Let's flip it around. Monero, explain to us why to do the same job, it's worth 1,000 times the price. And why, if I'm a GPU owner, I can't mine. And then if I'm a CPU miner, now I'm not going to be able to mine because you're changing it again. Like we've got a solid thing that if people take the time to appreciate, it becomes obvious why we did it that way. So, let's give these other projects a chance to justify their position vis-a-vis ours. And in some cases, maybe, they shine, and others, maybe we shine.
Let's start
with Monero.
I like that. So you want to have a debate one-on-one, knowing that it's not who wins. It's just to be able to talk about the attributes of each and compare.
Panel discussion. Instead of debate, let's say panel discussion.
Yeah, panel discussion. Perfect.
Yeah. And so let's start with Monero. I would actually include BSV on there as well, maybe BCH. Because the thing with Epic is it's small and it's more challenging to use. It doesn't have the fiat links. There's these networks that have been around 5-10 years. Litecoin is almost 10 years now. Have a lot of advantages that carry value. And in situations where all bets are off, shit hits the fan type of stuff, then maybe those things become more important than they would be in other times. So let's narrow it down, but also widen it a bit. I'll put on my thinking cap, and if anybody has suggestions, let's come up with a tool belt of different implements for whatever jobs might come up.
And DJ Stone, we invite you to come to t.me/Epic Cash, and if you want to have these conversations in there, I think those are good. Look, I like seeing all of these questions in here. I mean, I'm so new at all of this that just even these questions, will make me smarter when I start seeing the dialogue go back and forth. And then at the end of the day, I'm a big boy. I can make my own decisions, but I don't mind challenging questions, or I don't mind being uncomfortable, because I have recognized from the beginning, I don't know shit, guys, and I'm here to learn. And I hope you are. So look, tomorrow night, Yoga's going to join me. We're going to talk about EpicFundMe, and this should be of interest to any of you guys who might want to have an alternative means of monetizing your own personal resource. It's very cool. It's very cool. And we're going to fully explore it tomorrow. We're going to brainstorm. We're going to war game it. We're going to give some tips and hints, and we hope you join us. Anyone wants to come in? Let's say this, Yoga. Let's reserve the last half hour for any folks who want to talk about anything. And I'll put a Zoom link into the show. And if you want to come on and join us, and, you know, if you're part of the community, come join us, say hello. If you're someone who's not part of the community and you just can't stand Yoga Dude because he, you know, pivoted today and self-identified as Zoom Dude, come on in, and, you know, we're inclusive. We'll take that opinion too. Or if you just somebody who is like DJ Stone, who wants to come in and have a friendly engagement, come on in. I'll put the Zoom link in there. So that's going to be tomorrow night, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern time. And then I'm going to go on a cigar walk. I've had a lot on my mind. I'm going to go on a cigar walk on Sunday, probably. So I'll post another one that's just going to be your crazy favorite uncle walking around smoking a cigar, spitting, and getting things off of my chest. So there we go. Guys, this has been a great hour. And thank you guys in the chat who came back for round 2, because round 1, I have a tech issue. Let's just wrap it up. Max, you have anything to say before we leave?
Just quick shout outs. If I don't mention you, it doesn't mean that I don't appreciate what you're doing. But in the interest of brevity, quick shout out to no particular order, Michael, Enrique, Hayek, Islo, Shelly D, RH Freeman, and Mr. Slinger. We're working on formalizing our appreciation through recognition programs and grants and things like that. So keep doing what you're doing, everybody. And if you want to get more involved, now's the time. These aren't just lottery tickets that you hold. They're scratch offs that you can affect how many of the prizes pay out for you, because the value can be whatever we make it. Our key competitors are thousands of times more expensive, and we offer serious advantages. So, you know, let's get to work. Our time is now.
Amen. Yoga? I mean, I'm sorry, Zoom Dude?
I've been Yoga Dude since like first 30 seconds. You calling me out for changing my handle there, but you know, but I understand if you missed that. I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm all for friendly discussions, and I'm all for educating people. I think and when we learn, we'll learn. When we teach, we'll learn. So I'm all, I love to hear people's opinions. I just prefer them to be informed opinions.
Right.
And when somebody comes in and makes an assertion, that is nonsensical, I don't really enjoy indulging a particular point of view just because I believe in merit rather than giving medals for participation. I think that in order to have an opinion, you have to have at least tried something to earn that.
I love that. I love that. Well, that is what I've always appreciated about you. Engaging with you now for the last few months is you are, you tolerate a lot where it should be tolerated, and you tolerate zero where it shouldn't be. You don't suffer fools for too long, and I like that. I mean, it's just you call a spade a spade. So this is great. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for showing up. And man, I've missed you. I have things to share on Sunday on my cigar walk that I'll tell you why I missed you. So, okay, guys.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. So look, same time, same place next Friday at noon. Hopefully we don't have to do a 2 for then. But thank you. This is, and let us know in the comments if you like this format. I sure do. And I can't wait for this Savior 7 panel discussion series. Thank you, Max, for giving me that word, panel discussion, because that's really kind of what this is. I want this to all be about. This isn't an either or. For me, it's a both and. But let's explore it. At the end of the day, if you had one coin, when the shit hits the fan, which one kind of checks all the boxes. And that's what I want to explore. I think that'll be fun. We'll learn a lot. We'll learn a ton. And through that process, I hope the value of all the coins increase, because, you know, I am such an influencer with all of my subscribers. Anything I talk about moons or not. Okay, guys. Thank you.
Unless it doesn't. Yes.
Unless it doesn't. That's right. That's right. Okay.